Hello, this is Retconned, and welcome to Pushing Content, the series where I'll be playing mobile games. This is Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's a mobile game made by a company called DeNA. It's really fun. I quite enjoy it. We're going to be doing content that's called 5-Star Magicites, but this video is going to be my episode 0 introducing you to the game. The way that pushing content will work is the first episode we record of a new game will be in episode 0, and each game will have its own series. But for now, I plan on sticking with Record Keeper until we either hit a brick wall, or we've spent too much time on it, or if we somehow clear all the content, which I doubt that we'll be able to catch up on. Much more likely we'll end up hitting a wall that we won't be able to get past, and at that point we'll take a break and move on to another game. Maybe something like Puzzle and Dragons or Fire Emblem Heroes. But let's get started with introducing you to this game. I'm going to very briefly just go over basic terms, things that I might say, and the different screens. Here's your main screen. You got an item chest where you get daily rewards. We're just going to go ahead and collect these. You saw one of those things was mithril, and that's this number here, and it's used for the draws in this game. And Record Keeper works a little bit different than most other mobile games. Well, I guess I shouldn't say different than most other. There's quite a few where you get all the characters and then you unlock relics, but that is how this one works. Let me see. There's different relics for characters. So on the bottom here, you can see my party, the characters that I'm currently using. This is just a team where I farm content and level up. My stamina is up here. And these are my options for the different areas that I can go into. So let's, before we actually get into a dungeon, check out the party screen. So these are the equipment that my characters are wearing. They're referred to as relics. There's a weapon slot, an armor slot, and an accessory slot. And if you look at the weapon, you can see that this is a item that is meant for Squall. I mean, it's not meant for him. It has the unique or the ability that it grants that is Squall only, but any character can use it. It has a bonus effect that adds a small boost to ice damage. So if I was doing a ice ability, I would get bonus damage. This is the ability it gives, and there are different tiers of ability as the game has progressed. I believe it started out with just uniques that gave a character an ability and no other stat boost or anything like that. And then they introduced supers, which were kind of the same thing, but they gave a stat boost when they were mastered, which is like a 10 magic boost, mind boost, or strength boost, depending on the character. And some characters actually get 5 of magic and attack. So the different types of specials that can grant are oh gosh, I'm gonna have to cut that there. So there are Ultra Soul Breaks, there are Chain Soul Breaks, and what a chain does is it increases the more elemental attacks you do, increasing your damage. And then going down the list, there is Burst, which whenever it's activated, it actually grants the character additional abilities. Deal 4 ranged physical fire, non-elemental attacks to one target, reduce delay before hitting. Deal 2 physical ranged fire and non-elemental attacks to one target, and restore 1 ability use to the user's ability with the fewest remaining charges. So they're actually less powerful. Most abilities have been upgraded so that they're typically more useful than the burst abilities. But some, like this one, will get you more of your ability uses back. So if you don't have like ultras or an overstrike or an arcane, you can use that to boost it up. And then there is, what am I forgetting? I already covered supers and uniques first, and then we've got the materia soul break. So the materia are over here, and they just grant extra small ability. They're referred to legend materia, and then record materia are actually gained from leveling up, and they're a little bit different, but kind of the same concept. Down here is your magicites, and the magicites are basically dropped from special dungeons that are currently some of the hardest content in the game, and they grant different like stat boosts to your characters. And whichever is the main magicite will also give a special ability to the party. So if this one was the main magicite, it would temporarily lower the hit chance of the enemy debuffs applied through actions for a small amount. So basically debuffs would have less of a chance to hit, and it restores a large amount of HP to all allies. And then Dampen Dark, it blocks dark damage. Gives some mind to characters that would want that, like for healing or for stopping or ending debuffs, and it provides health. And then there's an inheritance slot which you actually put another magicite into, and it can grant one bonus to this magicite. These are abilities, and the abilities are your main form of doing damage. Every character has 2 abilities, so it's not, selecting attack, defense, items from a chart. You just have 1 attack button, 1 defense button, and then your 2 abilities. So they all have different effects. This one deals 4 physical damage, attacks to 1 target, deals more damage based on the user's attack. This one randomly hits targets, but it does 4 hits instead of a single hit as it would normally do. And you'll notice that these have stars on them. That's the rank. Lower ranked abilities you'll use as you're progressing through the game. They go from 1 to 6 stars. 1 to 5 stars are made with orbs, and then 6 stars are made with crystals. So let's get into a dungeon. We're actually going to go into a power-up dungeon, which is a dungeon that drops orbs and crystals for our characters. So we're going to go into... Actually, I might need some non-elemental for some monk abilities. I know I'm low on those, so we're going to do this. So this is an option for an ally, and basically it'll grant 2 abilities that I can use throughout the match. And I can use it 2 times. We're going to grab one of the burst types that I didn't tell you about, which is Arcane. I forgot to mention that. Arcane is an overstrike. A normal overstrike just does 1 attack that's... can break the damage cap, which is 9,999. So it can deal up to 99,999. Arcanes do 3 attacks of that amount, or they can do 20 attacks and then a single attack of a overstrike. So they're pretty good. We're gonna grab this Arcane for him and go into the match. Now, unlike the normal abilities, Arcane Overstrikes can only be used once per match. And they can also use more of your soul gauge. And when I say can use, they all use 1.5 bars instead of the normal full bars of most abilities or half bars of glints, which I also forgot to mention. And glints are just like a short little burst ability that isn't super strong, but provides, usually some stat bonuses to your character. Some of them are really strong, like Renoa's or Bartz's, but most of them are just like some of the stat bonuses that are provided from from a super getting applied to your ability. So we're gonna use this ability. So he has a special materia on him that provides him haste and instacast. You'll see whenever I cast with this character that his bar is actually going to have to fill up first. And you'll also notice that Ace down here, who just used his ability, he is now going to have an ATB bar that fills up. And that's how you wait to actually do your attacks. So just selecting abilities for all of our characters. There's 3 rounds of this. We're going to go ahead and just blow one of these completely out of the water. See how it's doing 40,000. Part of the reason it's doing such low damage is because he's in the back row and it's a physical attack. And that actually lessens the damage. So your physical characters you want to put in the front row, while magic characters or characters doing range attacks you want to throw in the back. I should technically have him on the back row, but this is a farming team, so usually I'm just doing this in auto battle, and that's you know, the main usage of farming. Let's hop into some harder content after I clear this next dungeon and give you an example of what my farming team can do. So they recently upgraded these where they give out a crystal every time, so they're pretty good for farming and making new abilities or upgrading your current ones, because abilities only have a certain number of usages every time, called hones, and once those hones run out you won't be able to continue using them anymore. So let's push some content. We're just going to go to the weekly event and do one of the harder difficulty dungeons. So I'm going to go to the dungeon info here, and you can see they give you some information about what they're going on. They use attacks that inflict blind, so we're going to use a magic team to avoid that. The enemies use mutilate, healing themselves for all of the damage dealt. Okay, so they can heal themselves. After taking a certain amount of damage, the enemies use ultimate spin punch, which ignores defense, so I may want to take out one at a time. They occasionally counter physical attacks, so it looks like this is a magic battle. Defeat all enemies to win the battle, and they're weak to ice. So we're gonna use our ice team. We actually have our favorites listed out, so we can go to sort category. We're gonna go to our magicite team. We're gonna have to change it a little while. That's this one. I've been meaning to use Sarah for a while. I actually recently got her Ultra, and I already had a double cast for her, so let's go ahead and pop her in the party. Alternatively, I could use Ysayle, who I have her Ultra as well, but I don't have a way to double cast with her, like I do with Sarah. So we're going to give her a weapon that'll boost ice damage. If we have one. So that's for attack. That's for attack. This is for magic. Do we want to give that? We're going to give her a magic boost weapon. We're going to give her a defensive item that boosts ice. And gives us the most magic possible. And then we're going to just go with defense. Actually, no. We're just going to stack more magic. What am I saying? I do have Lulu's Arcane, but I don't have really anything else for her. We're going to give her this and Chain Blizzaga. Here's her record materia. It's actually legend materia because it's from a well, no, it's not from legend materia. It's from I don't know. I guess it's still called legend materia, even though it's from a relic. Maybe I'm mistaken though. But it lets us double cast her ice abilities. And we're gonna boost, I believe, ice damage, or are we gonna boost magic? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and boost her ice damage further with this. Orphan Club, deal much more ice damage. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these other abilities. Confirm. Oh. I don't really have anything here to put in the second slot because I don't really have any other ice abilities. I guess I'll grab a Dispel. I don't think they do anything that's really worth dispelling, but you never know what might happen. I guess if I had some type of Asuna ability, I should have thrown it there, but Blind's not going to really affect them. And then we are going to want to give her Voltec. Actually, no. Let's give her Chain Blizzara. Aga, so whenever I use that boost, it'll be like a Voltec. And give her the Voltec because she can still double cast. Honestly, a lot of this game is moving menus around and figuring out how you're going to set your team up. Alright, so for our ally, we want to get somebody who gives us a boost to magic damage. The main strategy in this game is getting your magic or attack, whichever stat you're using, up with boost with all of your characters, and then hitting them with attacks. So we're grabbing this one. It'll temporarily raise our magic and mind a moderate amount, which I believe is 30%, and resistance a small amount, which I don't know offhand how much that is. I think it's like 10 or 15%. And it also reduced the character's offensive casting time for 3 turns. They'll go faster. Oh, well, reduce their offensive magic casting time. So all the characters are going to get reduced magic casting time. And it grants haste, and the character enters Sage mode, EX mode, which raises the user's magic further, and it's a moderate amount, and increases the user's black magic damage a small amount. So go ahead and grab that. Alright, well, let's hop into this battle. Got 3 little guys to take out. Alright, let's go. Let's do this. So we're gonna have her entrust the soul gauge bar or the bar that you saw here of soul gauge to Rinoa. We're gonna have, oh, I forgot to switch things up on her. This, that. So this is a wall that's going to protect our guys and boost their defense and resistance, which is our basically your magic defense. I forgot to switch this out. I should have switched it for a magic boosting one. I don't think we're going to need it for this content. This one boosts attack, but we're going to go ahead and cast it anyway. It'll still give her soul gauge. And soul gauge you gain for using abilities and for when you take damage. Oh yeah, we definitely are blowing through this very easily. So we have these characters wrathing, which gives us a lot of soul gauge, and then once they're done wrathing, they're going to entrust to one of these other characters. So this is our chain that is increasing our ice damage, and every hit that we do increases the damage a little bit. You'll see the number here increase. See? Up to 114%. So this is Record Keeper. Hopefully the video helped you a little bit. I know I probably didn't explain things super well, but hopefully you got an idea of what the game is about. Hopefully in the next couple days we'll get the first episode done and uploaded. We haven't actually started recording it yet, but we will hopefully be recording it this weekend. Until next time, I will... Well, I guess I'll see you later, and until next time, yeah. I don't have any clever sign-off or anything, so everybody have a wonderful day.